Dak Prescott, Matthew, back to him for a second. You are less optimistic than I am on him. I would say this. I understand some of the mitigating factors that people have pointed out. Last year, he had a bunch of rushing touchdowns. Last year, he did not have a ton of passing touchdowns. Last year, he had a tremendous, borderline historical season in terms of interceptions not thrown last year. He was so careful with the football. I would bet on this. I would bet on Dak Prescott in a lot of ways. This is a player that every time a challenge has been thrown his way since the year or so ago when Tony Romo was injured in that third preseason game against the Seahawks, or whatever preseason game it was, Dak Prescott has met or exceeded the challenge in a way that I think is borderline immeasurable. If he has to throw the football more, like who's to say that he can't throw the football more and do so effectively? I still have him in my top 10 for quarterbacks. I think Dak Prescott's got a ton of potential this season.
First off, whatever's thrown his way, I see what you did there. Very nice wordplay. You are a master of the segue. For me, I am a believer in Dak Prescott, NFL quarterback. Right. I know there's some people that are saying like, it was a fluke. So I'm a believer in Dak Prescott, NFL starting quarterback. No question about that. I think he regresses this year. I have him outside my top 10. I have him as QB 12. Here's why. A lot of his fantasy value was driven, not a lot of it, but a decent amount by his 6 rushing touchdowns. Last 15 years, there's only 3 quarterbacks in the NFL that have had multiple seasons of 5 or more rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, Michael Vick. And the guy that he's compared the most to physically, probably Tim Tebow, the only reason he ran as much is because he couldn't throw. So my expectation is, you remember Jameis Winston had 6 rushing touchdowns his rookie year, 1 the following year. I think the rushing touchdowns regress. There's lots of data to support that, including the stat I just gave you. In addition, his touchdown to interception ratio was unbelievable last year, historically unbelievable.
Right.
Again, last 15 years. There have been only 2 quarterbacks that have thrown at least 450 passes in a season and had a better touchdown to interception ratio than Dak Prescott last year. Aaron Rodgers did it twice. Tom Brady did it twice. As great as Dak Prescott is, I'm not ready to sit here and say, you know what, this guy is peak Aaron Rodgers, peak Tom Brady.